Hi Aquarius, welcome to your birthday season reading. Today is the alignment of the planets. I've been waiting for today. And also, the Sun and Pluto are having a little powwow. From what I've read, this hasn't happened in like 438 years. So today is the day. We're not going to talk just about your season. We're talking about the whole year. Think of this as in fact, I would appreciate it if you thought of this as your year of the snake reading, which I think you guys will appreciate. We're actually doing a new thing, an online event, where we're going to be talking about the year of the snake and different Chinese zodiac signs and their compatibilities. But I'll link that below. Anyway, I digress. So that Magician first up, and then we have that Four of Swords. You know, your ambition right now in every aspect of your life is like almost romantic. You see big things for yourself, and you absolutely should. Your luck is great. So the ruler of your relationships is the Sun, right? Because the Sun rules Leo. The ruler of your relationships is in your sign, chilling. And it brings you energy, good luck, ambition, optimism, magnetism, and attractiveness that covers your quirkiness. And you're just like sexy. You can bag somebody really hot right now if you're single. Sorry, I digress. But that Magician card is just saying a lot. And a big component of that Magician energy, get it done energy, I can think my way through this, out of this. A big component of this, is going to be rest. So it's, how do I put it? If you worry about your well-being, then all this ambition and energy you have, it's perfectly, you have a chance to distribute this energy exactly the way you want to. And all it requires from you is some diligence in terms of well-being. So the Four of Swords is not just meditating or getting some rest. The Four of Swords is also someone who is, entombed. There is a chrysalis quality to this card. You go and hide in that space where the caterpillar dies and this butterflies. I think we have this misconception that the caterpillar, it changes form and sprouts wings, and the middle of the body just gets smaller, and then there's a butterfly. In fact, the whole thing turns to goo. It's just been this walking larva this whole time. It turns to goo. Well, not even larva, right? Because larva becomes something. No. It turns to like primordial goo. And then this butterfly is formed in this enclosed space, in private, at its own pace. So that Four of Swords with the Magician is a huge sign for you. Everything you're feeling about yourself, all the optimism you feel, all the direction you seem to have, almost, it feels maybe sudden. It's because the Sun is free of what right now is a very combative place. The Sun in Capricorn brought with it such a sense of unease. And I think someone who is as sensitive and as intelligent as you are can find that very abrasive. It's unease, but it's so diffused. It's everywhere. It covers everything. You feel unsure about everything. And there's a lot of combativeness. People, of course, people are unsure. They're confused. And I think it makes sense because the sun was in Capricorn for the first time in a while when Pluto's no longer there. So in a lot of ways, there were things that Pluto in Capricorn was keeping. Those things were under Pluto. We didn't see them. Now that Pluto has moved on into your sign, the sun being there where there was once a rock, and now whatever is under the rock has to deal with the sun. Not pleasant for any of us. So if you had a particularly uncomfortable Capricorn season, there it is. That's the reason. And I think here what's interesting is the cards are like, yeah, but you can go right back there really quick. That energy has not left. In the I Ching, it says that when you've traversed a great height, don't stop when you get to the top to look down from where you've come from. Keep going. Get a very, in the movies where it's like really irritating, where like someone climbs to the top and like immediately turns around, looks down, like, homeboy, back up a little bit. Can you walk a bit and then look back? Like, why are we, it is unadvisable. Inadvisable? I need to read more. I feel like I've started reading more, but I need to read even more. Unadvisable. All right, let's go with it. But there are perhaps some contentions, some issues, some little disagreements you picked up in the past 30 days, and they have the energy to follow you into your season and follow you into what is looking like a really good fucking time. So you can see very clearly how you don't need to do this. But this is very tempting. Let's not forget that Devil card. It is also a romantic card. Because the cravings you have may be for increase in different aspects of your life. Very Jupiterian energy here. The longings, the yearnings, the ambitions, the plans that you're making, this energy like a fuel source in your center that you feel, it's all around increase. You want more for yourself. You want more out of your relationship. You want more out of life. You want more out of your fucking government, whatever it is. You're expecting more, you're wanting more, and you have a lot of faith in yourself that you can do it. And alhamdulillah, you can. You totally can. But I think it's worth mentioning that when you have this kind of desire, that such a crave for increase can easily get you there. I mean, that's the nature of the card, isn't it? That's the nature of that archetype, isn't it? Like in Islam, the devil on the Day of Judgment says, I didn't do anything. You can't blame me. I suggested it. In The Devil's Advocate, right? Al Pacino, Keanu Reeves is like, you made me do that. You put me there. Al Pacino's like, I don't do that. I can't do that. I have no power. But if you crave it, that's you doing something. I can provide it. And not even provide it. Don't even do that. They can't do that. Not a creator. Can't do that. But I can point the way. Here, just eat this apple. It's a loaded card. So's this. We're getting there. So if you have something in you that's pushing you right now, I want this, I want to do more, I want to be this, I want to see myself like this, I want my house to be like this, I want, I want to get married now, I want to have kids, like whatever it is. Even if you're single, you're already like piecing this out and be like, this is what I want. If you're already in a marriage, you're like, this, we need to do more together. We need to be a better couple. We need to be more powerful. Any of those desires, because that is what they are, can veer you away from what's good for you, what suits you, what's natural to you, which is to make money and find love through very benign, not even benign, but quite beneficial avenues. It isn't uncommon for like an Aquarius to be volunteering somewhere and fall in love with someone. You know what I mean? You have a tendency to veer on the side of good, because you understand things about community and about, you have perspective. You're all the way up there in the sky. You can see from your perspective. For me, Aquarians and this star card are very much the effect that astronauts talk about. You know, when they say that there's a documentary about it, when they say that when the first astronauts left the atmosphere and they looked down at Earth, they had this like really profound moment where they realized that we were all one, and like we were being so stupid. And that the astronauts go on to say, like, if you could see what we've seen, like, we wouldn't hate each other, we wouldn't fight with each other, there wouldn't be any more wars, we would realize that we're all on the same rock together. And it's really profound, and a lot of them changed their beliefs because of that experience. I think that's the perspective that you always have from so high up in the sky. It just makes sense. It's, you know, it's the ultimate air sign. It's fixed air because it's out of the stratosphere. It's out there in space. Right? From there, of course, you see us all as one. And of course, you love us all regardless of how we are or who we are. You have that ability that pretty much everyone except Pisces, except the sign in front of you, lacks. You know, because Cancers will tell you they'll love everybody. Oh, I've never seen anybody hate someone the way a Cancer can hate them. You know what I mean? It's like, it's deep. There's a few signs before you that are like real, like lover girl, lover boy signs, but no, with you it's something different. Your love is based on understanding, perspective, a very, very elevated perspective. So for you to fall into the trap of fighting with people, one-upping people, self-sabotage, or sabotaging something that someone else is doing, this Five of Wands bothers me. And it bothers me because it's next to the devil. I don't like that. Because that means that there's something in you that's, for me, it's like Capricorn season still has a little bit of a hold on you. Well, it's okay. It's only been like 2 days. But the animosities or the bad feeling, even if nothing happened with anyone, just that you've picked up within yourself, it can pull you. And it can pull you in a direction that is completely unnecessary for you and has nothing to do with your fate and your destiny. Because things are looking real good. You know, so there's just absolutely no reason for this. None whatsoever. We don't need that. We don't want that. I think it might be a good idea, if you're with someone, to maybe plan something or try to take them somewhere. Because if you're dealing, let's say, with a Capricorn or someone who has, like, in their big three, if they have Capricorn placements, I feel like they need to get away as well. But just to show them that you're still a part of their life if you're with someone. If you're not with someone, I think your ambitions are very high, and I think you should go after what you want. Your arsenal is fully loaded. You are charming, you are beautiful, you are interesting. You're quite excited about your own life. And that's what really sets you apart from the rest of the zodiac, is that what other people see is like perhaps selfishness. It's actually just being very self-contained. Your joys are personal. And when you're truly joyous and well rested and taken care of, this is amazing, you can do great things primarily because you can plan great things. So I was in Cannes and I went to this like open air book market that they have there. And there was a book there called Dutch Map Making. And it was quite big, and I was just like immediately drawn to it. It was gorgeous, the book, just in and of itself. The book that I was like, okay, what is this? But just looking at the book, I was like, oh. So I started looking through it, and the guy who like ran the place, like the older French guy, came over and we talked about it. And I don't think I had realized up until then, I think I was like 23 at the time. I don't think I had realized then that the reason the Dutch were able to take over so much of the world was simply because they could navigate it. I didn't realize that the reason the Dutch East India Company, for example, changed the face of the part of the world that I come from, simply because they had a map to show them how they could take this from there to there to there to there. That it was really the ingenuity in their map making, their perspective, that made them one of the most brutal powers to ever, try to take over this planet. But it was all done through trade, never through warfare, although they have a lot of blood on their hands. But that planning, that map making, that using that elevated perspective to plan something out and make something really great for you right now. So if you've been waiting on making a new business plan and you've been like procrastinating, or you've been wanting to plan something really nice for the person you love or a family member and you just haven't gotten it done, I don't think there was much to get done in Capricorn season. I'm so sorry to put it that way, but it was horrendous. I mean, from the air changing to and then this guy, he did like this independent air quality test, and he found that a lot of what, because he was like, is the air drier than usual? That's the way like the TikTok stars. It's like, yes, what the fuck? Like, I don't have dry skin, but I'm suffering. It turns out that there is like a lot of volcanic ash in our air these past few months. It's just earth signs. So if you've been like procrastinating on something and just you tried to push through and get it done in Capricorn season and you just couldn't, yeah, the vibes were super off. But now the fucking vibes are on, bitch. It's time. It's time to get back to it. And it doesn't have to be something you've already done or something that you put down. Just do a whole new shit. That's what I would suggest to you. I think that sometimes you can get stuck banging your head against the wall with a concept or a person, a relationship, a friendship, because your mind, the way your mind loops, your behavior can loop the same way. So what that looks like generally to me is like you give too many chances. And like, it's like, the behavior is going to happen again because the fucking behavior is on a loop, but it kind of doesn't bother you because you're on a loop. So the Two of Wands is profound because it's you not being circular, it's you moving forward. Because the Wheel of Fortune, right? The Wheel of Fortune is circular. You can get on this ride of good luck that 2025 inshallah brings you, and you can have a great time. And the Dutch could have used their maps to go from here to there and just drink rum and fuck bitches and never take that rum over to England and blow their mind. They could have done that. They could have just fucking went to Tortuga and just stayed there and fucked off and like had the time of their lives and nobody would ever have known. I guess until much later. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have to use their maps to create this like evil empire. Not that I'm saying you should create an evil empire, but you know, you could create an empire. I feel like you know that. I feel like you know that the Wheel of Fortune is like this really fun ride that you can get on right now. Because look at these cards. Like, you know what's up. But it's like you're debating if you should use this energy to have fun or to like get down to it. And here's my suggestion. The reason that those two things haven't been combined in your head yet is because it's so hard for you to let go of anything that you put your ambition into. Like, there are things that you're doing right now that are not working, but you can't let go of it because you have this like internal fucking like ambition battle going on. Are you gonna just try to push through and use all this energy to make something work that just isn't working? Which you're going to get frustrated when it doesn't work, and then you're going to get on this ride and you're not going to do anything, and you're just going to like have fun. Or do you look at whatever you've done so far and go, okay, that is what that is, and we're going to put that on the, you know, on the side right now. We're going to put that on the back burner, and Two of Wands, I'm going to step out of my loop. I'm going to do something new and I'm going to move forward with it. Now, this can be in the context of a relationship. You can decide whenever you want in a relationship to completely change the power dynamic. I hope you know this. This is one of the things that I talk about a lot in the self-esteem course. You can immediately, in any situation, change the power dynamic just by changing your thoughts, but not your thoughts like from 1 minute to the other. Your thoughts about yourself, your beliefs about yourself. You have to like click in with the version of yourself that doesn't want what's been happening to happen anymore. You can call it being fed up. You guys are good at that, but it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to wait to get out of the loop until you're so fed up that it turns into this before you can step out of it. You can just decide that whatever is happening, however many times it's looped, it doesn't matter, but whatever is happening, it's enough. And instead of getting upset and instead of being in any way instead of feeling culpable for that in any way and putting that on yourself, you just decide that you want something different. So then you have to believe something different about who you are. And right now with the Magician, the Star, the Wheel of Fortune, it's very obvious where your beliefs, which way you're leaning, which is towards I'm amazing, I can do anything. And you can, but you have to do it. You can't keep trying to, you know, beat a dead horse back to life. Whatever this is, just put it on the back burner. And for some of you, that means ending the relationship that you're in because it's just not suiting you. Especially if the person that you're with is trying to compete with you, or someone that you're in like a situationship. If the relationship is like that, you know, if there's a competitive edge to that relationship, that's not going to work. Now that you're starting to glow up so quickly, that's not going to work. You're going to have to pull that person into your side of things so they feel like your success is their success. As long as they're on the outside of things, it's going to be very unpleasant and not something that you should hold on to. Okay? Now, in terms of relationships, you can also decide that you're going to focus on yourself and really elevate both of you by simply elevating yourself and changing your direction. Or you can be spoiled and bratty if you want to. That's your prerogative. If you feel like doing that, do that. Because whomever you're around right now, they're not trying to lose you or let you go. They can sense before you can what a winning streak, inshallah, you have coming up this year. Like they're good. If it's more fun for you to be spoiled and difficult, I understand. But if you want to do something else, do that. if you want to channel this energy into a really great plan for you guys, a move, a business, a child, a marriage, do that. But moving forward is the name of the game. And it looks like you have everything you need to do so, and it looks like there's very little you need to do to avoid the traps. And that Five of Wands and the Devil is like, just don't be petty. Be stronger than anything that is carrying over and bothering you, especially from late December, whatever it is. You're too good for that right now. And it just keeps, reinforcing you're too good for that right now. And you have too much work to do. You have a whole new you to worry about. It's just insane to take such good luck and good energy and do the Aquarian two-sword tango. Please don't do this. This is like, but it's like, you see how it's always there? It's always lurking. And you guys are like, yeah, we know. It's always there. It's always just a thought away. And right now, I can tell you what the Two of Swords is going to be, what it'll sound like. It'll be, you just think you can do all this. You just think you can change your life. You just think that you could be better. You just think that you can level up. You can't. Because if you could do that, you would have done it by now. Or this person or that person wouldn't have done this and this and this, and they would have done this instead. And there goes that logic loop to hell. Because it's not logical at all. It's panicked. It's hurt. It's what you do when you're hurt. A lot of people don't know that about you, huh? Yeah, you loop when you're hurt. Because you're trying to figure out from that very high perspective why somebody would do that to you. It makes sense. But it's a habit, and it can take over the rest of your life. So in that way as well, this is a really important time for you, because all these horses, all this movement, you know, is time. It's time. And when it's time for the fixed sign to get in the car to go on the big trip, they're a bit grumpy. But I think the universe steps in and gives you so many goodies throughout, throughout your season, but also late February as well. You just keep riding these waves of good luck. And anytime that you do start to feel that Two of Swords energy, I feel like you need to come right back here to this Four of Swords and remember that little caterpillar butterfly conversation. Maybe go lay down somewhere and turn to goo for a few days, and then come back out when you got your wings again. Because otherwise it'll just eat into a great season. Other than that, I think a lot of the people that you'll be around right now, they want to talk money. People want to talk money. They want to talk business. They want to revel in your success. Actually, I find that people will be very supportive because, people, they have that quality. They can suss it out. Like I said, about a partner, they can suss it out before you can, that something big is brewing. I see it in my own life. Whenever I hit like a new high in my career, about 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, my phone will just start blowing up. And no one's doing it on purpose. It just it seems to be what happens before the next wave, And I think that happens with people as well, not just like analytics, right? People are happy to join in your success. And I think one of the ways that you can keep people happy to be a part of your success is to put yourself constantly in their shoes. So even though you're feeling great, you're considering them. You don't have to do anything for them. No, do for yourself. Focus on yourself. It's your season. But it would be quite wonderful to consider them, and especially from the inside. What you would want if you were them would be a really great exercise for you to, a way to warm up to people without having to be all like ooey gooey with people, or without having to do much, because your consideration is palpable, right? So take the time, even though you're like full speed mode ahead right now, take the time to consider the people around you. And I don't by any means mean to say that you should make yourself small or that you should be less enthusiastic. No. That's not what I mean. I mean, like if you have a partner, okay? They're going to wonder when you start to zoom if the relationship is important enough to you. Or are they the person you see in the picture in your head when you see the end of this plan you're making for yourself? Now, if you know that they're feeling that way, you can consider them and you can say certain things or not do certain things or do certain things if you want to that keep them in mind and keep that question in mind, right? On February 11th, there's a Sun-Uranus square, a fixed square. And the way that it can play out is like people wondering if you even give a shit. And that's hurtful because of course you give a shit. It can be avoided. And the way to avoid it is to understand that when people see you progressing so rapidly, they become a bit insecure, no matter who they are. No matter who they are. And it makes them wonder if they're good enough to keep around. So if you know, even though that may seem absolutely ridiculous to you, but if you know that about them, then when you start to delegate a lot of your energy into your personal pursuits, if you have in mind that this is how they feel inside, then you can speak to that. And you don't have to have like this tower moment with that Sun-Uranus square. You can just have a conversation long before that, or just amend how you speak to them or what you're saying to them or how you're going about whatever you're doing here without exacerbating that fear in them. Now, for those of you who are a bit impatient and you're like, I don't want to have to do all that for someone, to that I say that if you love them, you will. Because the feeling that they're having is universal. It's not just them. It's not they're being insecure. It's not there's something wrong with them. Most people feel, I can tell you for myself, you're the only sign that is intimidating to read. Everybody else's energy is easy to get into. Yours is like, if you don't approach with a certain amount of knowing and competency, it's like your energy just rejects it, right? So whatever your partner or person that you love may be feeling about perhaps not being enough for you, don't make it about them. Most people wonder that around you, about you. Okay, so if you're like, oh, I don't want to have to do that, like I want someone to be like secure enough in themselves, I don't think it has anything to do with being secure. I think it has to do with being able to see your value. And sometimes maybe it's surprising when other people can see your value more than you can. And sometimes when other people can see your value more than you can, it kind of disgusts you because you can't vibe with it, because you don't see yourself the way they do. So to you, they may seem like effusive and like they're really doing too much. But that's because you can't see yourself the way they see you. You're not there yet. So oftentimes, I'll do a reading for someone who was like dating an Aquarius, and they just like, it took the Aquarius years to figure out that like that was the perfect person. Because it's only after the Aquarian came to terms with what their value really was and saw themselves truly as they are and how worthy they are, that they then remembered back to the person who treated them really well and always seemed to have known their value. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to do any of that. Right? We can keep people in mind. Jupiter, your planet, not your planet, but your energy right now, it's going direct on the 4th. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. You can so easily find somebody who suits you really, really well because they're meeting this version of you that's like just like all about it. It's so, so good. I really like it for you, actually. And even in, from now until the 4th, on the 4th, things get like romantic. From now until the 4th, it would be such a good idea to focus on money stuff. Cut off anyone who's just being a bore and being difficult and being weird and wants attention, and like focus on your money. On the 4th, do it up, go out, spend more time outside, take walks, be social, go to coffee shops, and be around people. Because your mind is on your money. And when your mind is on your money, you're actually very approachable because you're kind of detached. You're a little bit occupied, so you don't have such an intensity. And you become much more approachable, much more open and receptive because you're literally just distracted, but it's attractive, right? So focus on your financial concerns, on your ambitions, but also, make the effort to be outside around people. Because as soon as Pisces season hits, you're going to want to be inside. You know that. Everybody wants to be inside. So do your, be energetic enough. Use this in tandem with what gives your body energy. Again, focusing on that wellness, getting enough sleep, eating enough. So you have the energy to look good, to go out, to be around people. That requires a lot, right? I mean, we can pretend that it doesn't require a lot, but it does, right? So, coming back to that same thing, you can choose. You can choose to use this energy to run yourself into the ground, and then you go into Pisces season and you're just fucking exhausted and you have nothing to show for it. Or you leave Aquarius season and you head into Pisces season with all these little pots with all these stuff in it, and it's all cooking on all these different fires, and everything is just to be tended, but it has begun. The new you is already being cooked up. It's a process. It will require patience, this re-emergence. But I think that we can almost guarantee that the colors of those wings will be glorious. And who doesn't love a butterfly that can fly all the way to space and looks like a star? Happy birthday. This was great for me. Was it good for you? I loved this. Yeah, there's actually a lot of notes that I just didn't really get to use, but that's okay. We'll do that in the extended. I'm kind of loving doing these off the cuff and then waiting and doing and looking at the notes in the extended. It's fun. It's a good way to like meet it out. All right, I love you. I'll see you at the links below. Bye. Happy